So again, you've signaled beforehand and you signal at the time of that you're going to be focusing on stories and hoping that they can help you with the book direction a little bit. That's kind of the reason you're going to do these things. Now, when you sit down with anyone, and again, as I would tell you, people that already know you are worse at this than people that don't know you. People always want to give you their opinions. And the reason is they think you want their opinion. They believe that one. If you say, hey, could I do an interview with you? You just assume that means that like, oh yeah, you think I'm really smart, so you want to hear what I think about these things. And remember, you don't want sort of their opinions. But the problem is that people want to give it to you. So I actually interviewed this guy who's a really a well-known Wall Street Journal reporter. And I asked him, my students are kind of struggling to wind up getting these sort of stories out of people when they just want to give you opinions. What do you do? And he sort of smiled at me and he told me this. He's like, listen, let me tell you something really interesting. People want to give you their opinion, and so you just kind of have to let them give you their opinion. You have to let them get it out of their way, and then from there, go deeper and get the stories that you want. So that's really the secret of this one is, rather than trying to avoid people's opinions, you just want to take their opinion and turn it to your advantage. So when you ask a question of someone, you actually want to start by saying, hey, I want to start by getting your opinion on blank. Now remember, you don't really care that much about their opinion. I mean, it's interesting to you, but you don't really care that much about it. You just care because it gets them talking, it gets them confident, it gets them going in a track in this way. So here's the way you start with it. You take one of your themes, let's say whatever that you're exploring in this sort of way, you're looking at this question that you want to explore an opinion. So I'm going to pick on the book, our equestrian book here a little bit further, right? So we've got this idea here, there's some themes of technology. What are some of the technologies that you are sort of thinking could affect the equine industry? Okay. Mm-hmm.
Selling and buying management as well.
Like virtual reality, could that affect any of those things even maybe? Who knows, right? Like there's a bunch of things. So let's, sure. So I'm going to take this all the way extreme. Let's just say that you think virtual reality could be something that affects the industry. So that could be a theme that you want to explore. You don't know all the answers yet. So rather than trying to get them to tell you a story, because you said, hey, tell me a story about virtual reality and horses, they'd be like, what are you talking about, right? That's like too complicated. Instead, you want to get them talking. And so you want to basically say, hey, listen, I'm exploring a lot of themes in this book. I would love to hear, what is your opinion? Could virtual reality be something that could affect the horsing industry, right? The equine industry. Now, they may look at you and sort of say, well, that's crazy. I don't think so. That can't be at all. And if they say no, well then, okay, you sort of move on to something else. But let's just say they say yes. Actually, like I do. I'm actually a really big fan of how virtual reality could change the way that we sort of help train jockeys so they don't have to ride the horses as much. It could be really, really powerful in that way. So maybe that's something that they say. And so now you've got them talking. They're like, yeah, I actually think it'd be really powerful. The next point is where you see the application of it. So we've started with the opinion, now we apply it. Oh, interesting, so you're a big fan of virtual reality and equine industry. Tell me how you've seen that playing out in your own life, in your own sorts of days. And then they're gonna sort of think a little bit and say, well, yeah, I guess, interesting, like we've got this jockey and he's sort of young and we don't want to ride him on our best horses. And so we thought we would actually let him kind of do virtual reality sort of stuff. So we think that could be really powerful. And then the last of this one is give me an example. Well, give me a specific example of where you could see that one. Well, yeah, we've got this jockey over here, Joe. Now, when we first started having him train on the horses, he actually wasn't very good, and he fell a lot, and he got injured, and that was really bad for the horse and him. So what we thought would be really great is if we could let him sort of get his first rides in this virtual reality way that might happen. So what we've done here is we've started by letting us talk about the opinion. We then find how we apply it to ourselves and say, like, apply this here, and then we go to the specific example. It's called the OAE technique. This is how journalists typically wind up getting you to tell stories. They wind up helping you, like, give that opinion, then apply the sort of opinion to yourself, and then ask for a specific example. So that prompt that gets in that way. Now, again, it may seem like, well, this can't possibly work. It works like crazy. It is so funny how it is because, again, we get people talking. They give you their opinion, and then you ask them that sort of thing about, well, tell me how it applies to you, and then they can give you a story in that way. We've taken them down the track a little bit. So I always sort of tell the story. Have any of you guys ever seen the movie Austin Powers? So remember in Austin Powers, Will Ferrell's character constantly lies. He won't say anything. So you have to ask him the question 3 times to get him to tell you the truth. Same sort of way. People have stories, you just have to unlock it for them. And that's kind of what this does for you, is you sort of ask them this one to sort of get them talking, apply it to themselves, and then tell that example. And that's really the power of the OAE framework. Again, you take any of the things that you're interested in learning about, and you get them to sort of guide them through this framework. So if you remember nothing from today, remember OAE. It is a powerful thing. And again, you'll see that like people just aren't very good at doing it. And again, not everyone will have an example. If you do this 8 times, through the 8 themes that you have, you may find that you get 2 or 3 people to give 2 or 3 examples that come out of it. But this way of kind of OAE will help you kind of get to where you want to go. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to actually have you guys give this a try. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pair you guys up. So we've got 2, 2, 2, 2, 3. So we'll kind of have you 3 on the end here do this one. What I want you guys to do is I want you to do a practice interview for about 5 minutes. And what I want you guys to do is I want you to open up and try Otter.ai. So just open it up, and there's a simple button to record, and you'll watch it transcribe. So we're going to basically just have you guys try this out so you can record an interview with each other and try out the framework. And again, pick a theme, and what we're going to do for this one is we're going to basically assume that all of your books have an element of experiential education in them. And so I want you to basically be talking with each other about experiential education. Where have you seen experiential education play out? So to frame this out, you're going to start by asking for your partner's kind of opinion about experiential education. And then you're going to ask them, well, so how have you seen experiential education play out in your life? And they're going to say, well, yeah, I saw it. I had this high school teacher and stuff like that. And then you're going to ask them, well, give me that specific example. And that's kind of the framework that you're going to go through to try it out. So why don't you guys pair up here? We're going to take just a couple minutes. I want you to open up Otter.ai on your computers, and I want you to partner up and interview each other and try it out. And we'll just take a quick minute to do that one. All right?